Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
One thought.
When you go then.
Good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Joining me on the show tonight is our AK and our GB. How you doing, boys?
Evening, Portbert. Evening, GB. The techie team and everybody that's listening. Apologies about the delay.
Aye, indeed. A wee technical issue. A wee technical issue.
It's not a technical issue, it's a hangover. This Rangers Radio's on an absolute steamboat.
The boys are all still partying. We'll just be honest. The boys are all still partying. They're still half the clock.
The love train.
I don't know about that.
Well, boys, Rangers Celtic yesterday. I'll go to yourself first, AK. Give me your views and your on how the game transpired and what you thought of our performance yesterday, mate.
Myself and GB did a wee hang me on it yesterday anyway. Just briefly, very happy obviously with the result, the performance, the desire, the character of the team, and obviously the goals that was scored as well. Good, well taken goals. We're asking Diamondi and obviously Inga managed rocket into the top corner, and great to come away for Celtic Park. First victory in 5 years, coming away there with a victory, so it was well overdue, and the 2,500 Bears that was in the stadium obviously enjoyed it, so that was for them. So all in all, a good day, pal.
100%, mate, 100%. You touched on, the goals, mate. I think yesterday we were more clinical. I think that was a big difference for the two previous. The 3-0 game we were clinical as well, but even the game before that in the final, so I still felt we were the best team on the day, and we should have won that one as well. So we seem to have their cards marked at the moment. We seem to know how to play against them now. And yesterday, we're sort of adding, it's only my opinion, but with Barry adding a bit of character and a bit of fire. He was like a dictator yesterday for that touchline. He was running up and down. I think he kicked every single ball along with the team, and he was urging them constantly. After the exploits of Thursday night, by the way, 120 minutes and penalties, I think it was just, it just looked like a Barry Ferguson performance for me on the pitch and for touchlines, and obviously Neil McCann and the other coaching staff putting their pitch in their wits, and giving Barry instruction as well. I think it was excellent. What do you think, GB?
Aye, mate. All I think he was missing was his full kit on, mate. He was practically, like it says, on that part leading us again back in the old days with the captaincy and all the rest. It is good to see. It's good to have that back. We've been missing that since Gerrard, to be honest. It's just that kind of, like you says, mate, passion to kick every ball, and like every goal that went in and stuff like that, he's aware, like applauding our fans. You know what I mean? So he's in amongst it. So it was great to see. And I mean, yesterday you probably heard the show, but I was like ecstatic, and obviously had to use the bleep button as well at one point yesterday when I opened up the show. So, but it's funny Port, when you kind of come down for Clyde 9 and you're watching the game back, there's moments where in that first half we could have blew them away, I think, and then there's moments in that second half where we could have lost the game as well. So I think Barry's right in his kind of his presser that they could have done better in the two goals that we lost. But all in all, I mean, if you want to win an Old Firm game, what a way to win it with big Iggerman's goal.
Aye, definitely. I think what it showed me as well, obviously Barry's saying yesterday, after the game, he'd said, he touched on, you can't just be a good player and have ability to play for Rangers. He said you've got to have other minerals, and I get what he means by that now, because obviously Philip Clement tried his way, and you know my feelings, lads, on Clement. But the other wee sort of credentials and minerals that players need to be at Ibrox, we've seen over the last 3 games, and it's what we've all been asking for, which is always a bare minimum for me, is passion, fight, desire, and that will to win. I want it more than they do, and that's what the team's definitely showed over the last certainly 3 games, of the games certainly Barry's been in charge. Would you think, AK?
Listen, Barry's walked in the boots of the players that's in that dressing room. He's wore the captain's armband. He's won trophies for the club. He's experienced a lot of European football, so he knows what he's talking about. As did Gerrard, as did Gio. You know what I mean? They guys are exemplary careers individually. Won a lot of things, so they know what the dressing room's all about. It was just, I think, installing a wee bit of belief into the players. There are obviously some talented players in there, but I think they kind of lost their way, so to speak, with obviously results and no performing as well as expected. And I think there was a wee bit of a cloud hanging over Ibrox. So Barry and his staff seems to have lifted that cloud, gave them a new lease of life, a new direction, a new focus. And it's certainly shown in the short period of time that he's been. I mean, yesterday there was definite strategy in the team, the formation, the banks of lines, the 5-4, with the ball, and then us obviously breaking up the parts. So he's brought an organisation there, a desire, character. You know what I mean? They're all big things. Fill the jersey. That's what we're asking for pre-match show yesterday, GB. And I think that's what we got, so we can be proud of the fact that we did, the players carried out the instructions and we did come away with that victory that we all craved.
Aye, definitely. Anybody can say what they want about Ferguson, as far as I'm concerned, as a tactician. I know he's been getting a lot of critics for us saying, not of experience, what is, what was his tactical knowledge like? But say what you want about his tactical knowledge, guys. But for me, as a motivator, he looks like an expert. GB?
Aye, no, he's got that in abundance. Port, I don't think it's just Barry. I think, like he says, he's picked the right backroom team as well to come in with him to coach this team as well. I think we need to give plaudits to Neil McCann, because he was right up and next to Barry yesterday as well, saying things. I think he was actually getting on to Balogun about how he wasn't just lumping the ball at the park. He's telling them just to clear it at times, and he was causing Rangers a lot of hassle with no doing that. So you mean McCann's writing about it. We've seen with Billy Dodds as well in the training videos and before the games as well. He's out there with the players practicing shooting and stuff like that. And then look at Jack Butland. I mean, overnight the guy's fun form again, and that can only be done to how he's getting coached with the goalkeeping coach, which is Big Alan McGregor. You know what I mean? So whatever they've done in the background and the build up to this game in such a short space of time, it's all clicked. And let's say we couldn't probably wish for more, to be honest, because he's up against Jose Mourinho and then he's up against Rodgers. Now, these guys are vastly experienced managers, and Barry Ferguson, let's face it, his track record as a manager has not been great, and yet he's been able to come in, let's say, with a good backroom team and galvanise them to, let's say, quarterfinals, a European trophy, and then you've got, let's say, yesterday beating Celtic in the rain run, which I think for a manager in their first All Firm, let's say, yesterday was the first time since Walter Smith. So just all good round stats, players improving, players look as though they're buying into what he's doing, and it's kind of onwards and upwards now. It's basically it's down to Barry and his backroom team, I think, now to shows what they can do between now and the end of the season, what they can do in the rest of this European run, to see if they can actually secure the job. I'm still kind of 50-50 on it, even though yesterday was amazing. But what I say is we'll be watchful over the next couple of weeks to see how this team react to it all, react to the management, and hopefully it's a kind of Gerrard moment.
Aye, 100%, mate. I think we'll get his lines open, boys. I think the Bears will be desperate to come in and give us their match day reports and their views in the game. And so let's hear from you folks.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, so I think as the game goes, boys, I think, for the first minute, I think Rangers set their stall out pretty early, winning the free kick in the right, having Cherney, over the ball, and he whips it into the back post, and obviously Schlupp clears it out, and then it was a sort of wee, fury of corners, and round about we clearly worked on set pieces. That was evident again. That's something I've always worked on, and we've seen a weakness here. And their side, we had a bit of a height advantage yesterday, and up to the 4th minute, you then get the great delivery for Tav. And Raskin, to me, it's a decoy run, by the way. He makes a decoy run to the front post. I don't think initially that ball was meant to get to him, but he's come right across that front post and knocked it in that, the opposite end. What a finish by Raskin, and what a move by Rangers, targeting and going at them for the get-go, grabbing them by the throat. AK?
Aye, definitely. I think there was intent there right away to get up in to Celtic's area of the park, and as you say, we had a flurry, like a couple of throw-ins, broke to Raskin, who had a raspberry shot in the 3rd minute, and Schmeichel palms it round the post for the corner that led to the goal. But as you say, I think it was well worked. Obviously, Raskin's running towards the near post. He takes a couple of defenders with him. He gets a glance, and what a glance into the far corner. But as you say, if it misses him, he's took players out of position. And I think, like say, Balogun and Suter were there, maybe ready to attack the ball if Raskin doesn't get it. But the wee man makes a leap, a perfect glance. I don't know where Schmeichel thought it was going wide or no, but it's in the back of the net. And the wee man's up celebrating, runs the length of the park to celebrate in front of the Rangers support. I like that as well.
Aye, right, and rightly so, mate. Rightly so, because the wee man's is probably our shining light this season, in my opinion. He's been, and if he can add goals to his game and tap what he's doing, covering every blade of grass, making all them tackles, just putting fires out constantly all over the pitch. He's becoming, in my opinion, he's becoming a proper Rangers player. That's what I expect, bare minimum, for a Rangers midfielder. And if he can add goals to his game, fair play to him, GB.
Aye, Paul, I think we knew that player was always in him. I mean, he's always showed, even when he first came in, we're like, oh God, we've got a player here. And especially for a bargain as well. But then it kind of tailed away, and I think William said on the show as well that it looked as though his career was stalling. I mean, it looked as though it wasn't going to happen. Clermont came in as well, didn't it? Looked as though he was going to use him too much, but eventually got him fit and started playing him at the start of the season. Unfortunately, got that bad injury in that friendly again, so it was kind of stop-start. But see, since we've kept him fit, tell you what a player he's turning into for our team, and he's a player that's flexible with tactics and all. He's bought into Barry's tactics right away as well, and so he's an all-round player.
Hello.
And like, I'd like to take that call.
Hey, worries, mate. Who we got? Is that yourself, Jim?
Hi, how you doing, all right?
How you doing, mate?
Back
How
on
you feeling?
Two nights in a row. Yeah, by the way, it's good to see Celtic can actually phone the police about something. What an embarrassment, Jesus Christ almighty, man.
Oh, for a bit of banter,
Shocking,
Jim.
man.
In my opinion, it's just absolute banter, mate.
It's good for them to sling abuse at the players outside the stadium, calling them all the orange bees under the sun, but somebody pops a bit of water at them. Oh, my God, Oof. You couldn't black their necks, man, could you?
They don't get their name for nothing, mate. The famous unwashed.
You're right.
They don't like water, mate. They don't like water.
On a serious note, is Celtic's second goal. I know Big Ox isn't on the right, man, but I'll tell you what, he must have been splitting yesterday with Yanis Hadji. I thought Yanis Hadji caused that yesterday. When you watch it back again, he dives in when there's no need for him to be diving in.
Aye.
And it just opened the park right up for Celtic.
Aye, I think in that spell, Jim, we were, back to the wall. And if we're brutally honest, it was probably looking, in my opinion, it was probably they're like the ones to go and get the third goal. And it's only my opinion.
I'm talking about Celtic's second goal. The build-up to Celtic's second goal, he dived in. He dived in where it didn't need to go.
I'm not going to be critical.
What's your opinion on that, boys?
No, I'm not going to be critical on that, Jim, because I don't think it's part of Yanis Hadji's game, and I think what the boy gives you is 100% effort, and it does. I think he's trying to do parts of the game that he doesn't. He's not expected to do, i.e. make tackles, track back, etc. But under Barry Ferguson, Jim, as you know, it won't be accepted. It will not be accepted. So I think he's just trying. You know the old saying, mate, you played the game. He's maybe trying too hard. GB?
Aye, the second goal, Jim, I thought it was Mayor Barn kind of switched off and let Hatate run in. And I think Barn put his hands up to it. But don't get me wrong, in amongst it all, like you say, there's Hadji, then there was Barn, and then I think it was Proper as well. Was they really aware of it? Butland, I don't know, I can't really do much about it because it was that fast it happened. But I think really Barn should have tracked his runner and just kind of switched off for a second. And let's say that boy Hatate, I mean, he was hitting shots left, right, and centre yesterday. Butland was keeping him out as much as possible, and I think just at that moment in time when you're letting a player like that run in, then it was probably inevitable that it was going to happen at some point. But we held our own, mate. We came back in it. I can't moan too much.
AK, we pick up Jim's point.
Aye, evening, Jim. Listen,
How you doing?
I think aye, all right, pal. You look at the goals in isolation. I think there's faults there in both goals that we could defend better for. I thought Tavernier was sleeping for the first goal as well. He didn't keep his eye on Maeda. He ball watching again, and it's not the first time he's been caught underneath the ball. And Hatate, or Maeda, a wee guy in the pitch, gets the jump on Tavernier, and Sterling's obviously no aware that he's there. The Hatate goal, they had the momentum at that time, but there's things to be avoided there. Butland made a good save off him the first time. He does like that shot for distance, and he is good at it, executing it. So, avoidable. Of course they were. But we could have had 2 or 3 that first half to put us in easy sleep by that time. So it's a typical all-firm time game at that point then, Jim, innit? It's anybody's, basically.
It was fantastic, but again, we've responded to it. I thought it was actually good the way Ferguson when that Maeda kept on switching. He just sent Big Sterling after him every time. I mean, again, I don't think Big Phil would have done these things. I'm not slating them, but Barry and the backroom team, they're tweaking things when they're needing to be tweaking it now, instead of just keeping with the same. Because we were a rigid 4-3-3 with Big Phil, and nothing was getting changed. But he seems to be changing things.
They're definitely working on things, Jim. I was touching on it earlier on. I don't know if you're listening, mate, but I was touching on things like, obviously they'd looked at corners, what set pieces, even the long throw-ins we had yesterday. You can throw the ball at a corner, so why not use that to your advantage if it's a strength to your team? Stoke made under that manager, Tony Pulis. Yep, used to do the exact same thing, get that ball to that front post or even further than that at times. So you've got to use these things to your advantage, especially if you're maybe not, you're not playing the free-flowing football that you want to be playing. So you use any tool in your box. And I was even happy yesterday, eventually, when they started, targeting Maeda. There was as you said, John Sterling, made a lot of tackles on him. Big Proper, got him on the halfway line as well. Took a booking for it, took one for the team, and looked at me like he injured Maeda at that point. And I've said it on this show many a times. We're too far nice a team at times. And whereas I think Barry's starting to install that wee bit of nastiness in us, if you have to take one for the team, you need to take one for the team. 50-50 balls, he wants you going through and taking it 60-40. And that's what these are all the wee tiny, I always call it the dark arts of football on the show that I think we lack. And to win titles and to get, championships over the line, you need to have all these minerals, Jim.
Big time. I think it's that people think that Barry for the manager. I think the next 3 or 4 games are going to be telling. because they're going to be coming back up against this low block carry on. And it will be interesting to see how he gets round about this with these players. Because I've seen the last couple of games, it's teams that's come out and attacked us and we've got at them. But it's going to be interesting to see how he gets this group of players getting by this low block, because I think there's a few games coming up. I think the first one's going to be Dundee away. They'll try to hit us on the break. So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes at this. What do you think yourselves, how he'll go at it?
Well, that's it. I'll go to GB first. GB, do you think we should stick with the same tactics as we played against Fenerbahce and Celtic? Do you think we should stick with the same, or will there be further tweaks to deal with teams like Dundee and the rest of the teams we have to play in the league? What would you do, boys? Would you stick or twist? GB.
I think that, like we were saying there about Barry being dead flexible with tactics support, I think we'll see him maybe days more an aggressive tactic come Dundee, especially for the low block. I mean, if we're going to be the team that's got loads of possession, don't get me wrong, he might have learned for like Motherwell and Kamara, knowing that if you do go to gun-ho, then it does leave us open at the back. We're not that strong. So maybe he might go kind of the Walter Smith way. You know what I mean? Like, now that we used to kind of sit in and invite them a wee bit out, and then we would hit them in the break all the time. So it might be a bit of that he's learned off of previous managers and stuff. Like it's about trying to draw them out as well, not letting them sit in and have, again, maybe give them the ball for a bit and let them try and drive forward, so it gives us the space to run in behind. So I agree with Jim. I'm kind of excited to watch and see how they're going to navigate through these next few games, because that's, to be honest, for me, is going to be his job interview. I think you seen yesterday, Port, that there was the potential new owners sitting in and watching this. You've got Patrick Stewart, who's brought him in, and I don't honestly think they would all thought that it would have went as well as what it's done, especially in the main things. So Motherwell and all that, and Kamara, you can probably say, well, they're just in the door. But Fenerbahce and away to Celtic Park, I mean, they're big moments. I mean, and again, like I said at the start of the show, two experienced managers that he's been able to deal with and technically out-tactic them. So these next games, as Jim says, in the league and stuff like that, we've got to kind of show consistency. And as long as he shows that, then I think he's got a wee shot at it.
I agree, mate. I agree. I think if they start the game exactly where they started against any other team in the Scottish Premier League, even with a low block, if we start and play to that pace, that aggression, the power, and use all the tools in the box I just touched on a minute ago, the long throws, the corners, set pieces, I think, it could be a whole different team dealing with this low block, GB, but just through sheer aggression. What do you think, AK?
I think Jim makes a great point. It's a great observation, Jim. When you look at the two games in isolation, yesterday's game and the game away to Fenerbahce, it suited us, the tactic that the coaching staff implemented. I'd a wee checking the stats here before I come on to see possession, shots on goal, shots on target, things like that. 28% we just had the ball yesterday. It was 31% in Fenerbahce. In Fenerbahce, we had 8 attempts on goal, 6 on target. Yesterday, it was 10 attempts, 5 on target. What I liked about the kind of start, particularly the first half, the high press that we had, there was intensity there. We were all doing it in stages. There was a trigger point and we were all pushing up on Celtic, and that's where we hassled them to win the ball back. Against your Motherwells, your Dundees, your Dundee United, Aberdeen, we're expected to be the team in possession. So he's going to have to change it in some sort of formation. But, it's whatever the team and the players are happy with. You're right in saying Clement was rigid in his 4-2-3-1. I think there's probably players in the team that wasn't happy with that formation. But without the ball, with the ball, we can change, we can be flexible there. I think the 3-5-2, I think, is a good one to start the game with. Because it'll push our full-backs up, and obviously we've got 2 strikers up top for boys coming into the box, Jim. So, good observation, pal.
Yeah, 100%. I think we really need to start with a wee bit more intensity. The complaint in these games that have dropped points recently we're slanting too slow. But see, I think it's really frustrating me with this group. These daft points that we've dropped recently, for Christmas, I would say for Christmas on, we pick up 50% of the points. We're rattling that Mull's back door, by the way, with them Celtic company Ibrox. And that's what's really getting me. This mob are not going to win this league with the landslide that they think they're going to win it with. That's my opinion. And I'm just, frustrated again that halfway points we've dropped. We're at 10 halfway points. We're sitting close to that mob and we're in a title race. And that's what's annoying. And that's what's still annoying me now, even though we're saying the league's out of sight. Still go to me company Ibrox. Would possibly take it down to 10. We take the games that we've parked the last weeks, your Motherwells, your St Mirrens, your St Mirren at Love Street, and another couple where we drop points. We're sitting a hell of a lot closer than is what's getting made out here. I'm really frustrated for even looking at the league now, sitting 13 behind them. We still go to play them. It would have been a hell of a lot closer if we were at 10 halfway points. We're in a title race.
I agree, Jim. Totally agree with you, mate. I think in terms of, we've seen, especially in Europe in particular this season, even under Clermont, we go away to France and win 4-1 over there. But we seem to, Thursday nights at Rangers are always great nights. And you'd see some, good performances in the league at times. I think we knew these performances were in these players, but just not consistent enough, Jim. I think that's been a problem all season. And it does frustrate you, especially when you look at the two Fenerbahce matches and then obviously the match yesterday. That's dead frustrating to sit and watch, and we're going to have to. It's sitting here wondering, what could have been, and that could be again. What could have been, Jim?
Yes, again, that what could have been last season should have been a treble. This season, we've let them after these again.
Right, GB makes a good point. Yep, GB.
Aye, Jim. It is new in what we're seeing. Like we knew it probably in the Old Firm game there at New Year that with the result that we had at home with the 3-0 result, we knew that we could take them. And the strange thing about it is that this season Celtic's not been really the issue. We've actually been able, any game we've been in with them, apart from probably the first game of the season, but we're still trying to put a team together. We've been able to deal with Celtic with the League Cup as well. I think we mentioned it yesterday as well. We should have really won that. It's just been the consistency with the rest of them. I mean, we allowed Aberdeen to run out of the tappies away from him. And I mean, it's just stuff like that just can't be happening next season. We've got to be in all these games up for the fight, especially the early parts of the season, because you're seeing now, like say Celtic, they've been toiling the last few weeks in the league and stuff like that. They've had their wee mishaps and stuff against Hibs and that. So if we were just still in the chase, then it would have been, like I say, it would have been, if we had got that result yesterday, that could have been us pushing on a title. But it's all if buts and maybes. Like I say, Ferguson now's got to show that this team can be consistent for us to kind of trust them again. Yesterday was great and Fenerbahce's great, and hopefully the European run will continue. But like I says, it wouldn't surprise me down the line that we come up against. We will come up against the likes of Aberdeen or whatever, and we really need to show that we own them. I mean, we own these other teams. We can't be, like I says, having draws against it, knowing the talent that we've got in that squad.
AK?
Listen, I think we all know we've been the destiny of our own downfall this year, particularly in the league, Jim. I think we've dropped 20 points away from him this year, which is unacceptable for a team expected to provide a challenge to win the league. I think we've dropped 8 points at him, so we sit 13 points behind them, and we obviously them still to come. But Celtic's home record. They've only conceded 3 goals at home all season to Aberdeen before we came calling yesterday. So we scored 3 goals there. We scored 3 goals against them at Ibrox, and we scored 3 goals against them in the League Cup final. As we all know, we were cheated in the League Cup final with the officials' penalty for Cherney that seems to have disappeared out of their memory. But as far as the league goes, we're very susceptible for our own downfall in that one. So the players need to look at themselves on that. Of course, managers not just come on, Bill, Gio. There's been instances there in the past where we've got into good positions there, even when Gerrard and they've bottled it. So there is a problem there in that dressing room. Hopefully Barry and them will rectify it. That they've showed big character the last couple of games there with Fenerbahce. We lost that game, I know, by the way, but we got through the tie, which was the main thing. But that's 4 home defeats at Ibrox, so they need to rectify these things, Jim, and see who wants to be there long term. It's not just Barry that's up for the manager's position long term. It's these players. Who's got a future in that dressing room? Who wants a future out of our club? Because they're all playing for their places now.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, guys, thanks very much for letting me on the night again. Here's hoping that we can keep this wee momentum going, the feel-good factor. As I said, a lot of boys are all away with our international squad. So it'll be interesting to see if the Poles are standing waiting at Cherney at Glasgow Airport when he comes back to his country.
And we water pistols.
I know, aye.
Super soakers, aka get the big guns out.
Bring your
See
umbrella.
the next time we play them at Ibrox. See the next time we play them at Ibrox when we score, we say, turn the sprinklers on, shoot me.
Good job.
Thanks, Jim. Right, Jim, thanks very much for your call, mate. We're going to go to the tune.
Nice hearing you all again, okay? I'll be listening.
Take care, brother. All right, bye-bye, mate.
Thank you, bye-bye.
And we'll go to the tune, boys, eh?
Yeah.
As we go marching down the Paisley Road west, the doors and the windows open wide, you will hear the people cheer, the Glasgow Rangers boys are here. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. Blue is the colour, football is the game. We're all together, Glasgow Rangers is our name. For we are the best team in all Scotland, and Glasgow Rangers is our name. So bring on the Celtic, your Hibs and Aberdeen, your Dundee United, we're the best you've ever seen. We play hand on heart, God save the Queen. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. As we go marching down the Paisley Road west, the doors and the windows open wide, you will hear the people cheer, the Glasgow Rangers boys are here. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. Blue is the colour, football is the game. We're all together, Glasgow Rangers is our name. For we are the best team in all Scotland, and Glasgow Rangers is our name. So bring on the Celtic, your Hibs and Aberdeen, your Dundee United, we're the best you've ever seen. We play hand on heart, God save the Queen. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. It's Glasgow Rangers for me.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, as the advert just says, let's hear from you folks. You know the number to give us a call, give us your views, give us your points. If you've seen it different from we've seen it, let us know. If you don't agree with the manager's tactics yesterday or his game plan, let us know. Phone in. Thank you. I'm going to touch on a couple of other chances, boys, that we had, prior to half time. In particular, who I thought had a good game, by the way, Cherney. The chance he tried to take it round Schmeichel, and then obviously made it far too tight for himself, and he ended up just wouldn't, because he's going to get on his left foot. He didn't feel confident striking to his right. I think he should have smashed it just as he enters the box, just get through the ball and smash it. But he didn't, and he's been a shining light this season. Cherney with his goals and assists, but that was one that got away. Yeah, GB.
Aye, mate. I mean, they could have gave Dessers his hero moment, couldn't they, have as well? Like that moment, like you says, that he could have took the shot. He had the chance still to square it to Dessers, and all Dessers really had to do was, again, no think about it and blast it in the back of the net. Because Carter Vickers wasn't getting near him by that point, and like you says, Cherney, I think he tried to make it too fancy and just, like you says, took it around the goalkeeper, didn't give himself an angle. And they cleared it, and you could just see Dessers absolutely screaming, saying, "Why have you not passed this ball?" And I think that the full Rangers support was probably screaming at the telly as well. But that aside, mate, like you say, he's been our most dangerous player for a wee while now. He's always turning up for his work. He's like I say, he's getting goals and assists, and he is only a lone player. Port, that's the thing. I mean, we're talking about character and all the rest of it. Well, that guy's here on loan. He doesn't technically really need to bust his backside for Rangers. I mean, and as much as, like I say, he's here to maybe put himself in the shop window, that guy, like I say, is turning up week in, week out like a proper Rangers player. And I've seen folks saying, like, oh, his price tag's high and stuff like that, but we need to remember we spent a lot of money on Ryan Kent, and Cherney's blasted Ryan Kent's stats right out the window. So for me, that right-hand side, we've been screaming for somebody to nail down that position. And I says, you don't really want to be going back to the drawing board, Port. I think we've got a decision to make going on Cherney, hopefully come the end of the season. We may get priced out to buying him, but certainly if it's something that we can afford and go for, then I would be trying to stump up the money for him, mate.
Aye, he's definitely been a shining light for me, mate. And I think originally when we first got him, I remember, when we were certainly linked with him and the news was breaking about him and his career at Wolfsburg had stalled. He was just basically, it just wasn't working out for him in Germany at all. And obviously, we were try before you buy. I think I always call it. And I know there wasn't the option to buy in his contract, but as you said, he's nailed down that right-hand spot. He's been effective. He scores goals. He's been very consistent. I don't even think there is a decision to make, mate. I think we should go and spend whatever it takes. I think the fee was originally quoted 7 million, but unfortunately or fortunately, because of the season he's had, I think Wolfsburg will be looking for more than that now. And also, there has been other clubs seeing what he's doing in Europe and what he's doing in the league, and they've been alerted to his form. AK.
Listen, as a player, listen, I like Cherney. I like the numbers. I like what he brings to the team. Is there faults in their game? Of course there is, or else he wouldn't be our club and throws out to Wolfsburg. There's definite quality there because he plays with his national team. The Bundesliga is a hard level to play as well, but obviously his funny self dipped out the team through whatever reason. Might have had a fluke with the manager, might have been better players in his position, but he's came to our club looking to restart his career, and I think he's certainly done that. You look at the previous recruitment that we've done with the loan players, with Big Seema last year, with Tillman the year before. So give credit to the club in picking out the guys, but unfortunately they've went on to pastures new, and players and agents are looking for big money. I need to be realistic here with the way you put. If we can't afford the likes of Lyle Cameron to come in the Christmas time there, we're certainly not going to fork out 7 million for Cherney. Even with new owners, financial fair play doesn't go away, mate. So we've still got all the things to consider. I'm just keeping my feet in the ground here regarding it. As a player, I'd love him, but I don't think he's in our kind of price range, I'm afraid.
No.
What was your other point? On you go. Take it back to you.
I totally understand that, mate. But I think if the new owners are wanting to do anything next year, I think that's the sort of level that we need to be looking at. to compete again. I don't think. I understand the loan market, and we've been very shrewd on it when you think guys like Tillman, Cherney, and Seema, that they've all worked out. They've all came to Rangers and went on and done better for themselves than they've left us. And which is a great way to get players in and have a look. And if you can afford them, buy them. Obviously, if you can't afford them, then away they go and all the pastures new. But I just think, for a definite, one of your first signings for next year, a guy that that could make that difference and keep going, getting you them numbers. I just think it should be a no-brainer, mate. And if we can figure out a way to get a deal done, I think it should be thrashed out, as soon as possible.
I think his agents already come out though, and dismissed that's not an option.
Right. Okay.
So listen, you never know. You never know that until things are finalised, and we definitely know our financial position. Because come on, and Coppin have took a lot of the wage bill in that off it. But if we couldn't afford the likes of Shankland last January, we can't afford the likes of Lyle Cameron this January. We're only getting loan players in, but Fernandez, and the finances are tight, as we know. So we'll just need to wait and see what happens and what the direction is at the club. If it's going to be Barry, if it's going to be another manager, and whether they fancy him. His numbers are certainly there. I'll give you that. GB mentioned Ryan Kent earlier. He blows his numbers out the water, as did Tillman, as did Seema. So £7 million was a big outlay for us. No, what I will say as well, that's what I was going to say is Danilo. That's 2 big games that Barry's just left him on the bench. £6 million striker. Does he have a future at our club? I would seriously doubt it. Do you know, guys? And we've been joined by a caller there.
Right. I can be joined by Bob here. How are we doing, mate?
Oh, I'm very happy, lads. I'm just been out with the dog, just been along the length of the street with the dog and back, and I just had myself a nice drink of water.
Then were you still singing, mate?
That's what I'm saying. A wee drink of water, quite
Quite.
But we're not going to go on about that. But I never heard anything so childish other days in my life. But that's the beginning, that's the end. I am happy. I thought my team played really well yesterday. Dug in. We all got the feeling that halfway through the second half we were going to, like they would have done, and I'm not picking on the man, I'm stating a fact. We would have, if it was Clement, we would have caved in. But yesterday we never caved in. We kept on going, kept it up. And there you go. We got a reward in the end with a wonderful goal with Eggman. So it was great to be either going to win the league, they're probably going to win the treble. Why didn't he care about that? It's when these people come in and they said of the club, and then we'll see what happens next year. It was always all about next year, but I didn't see that coming yesterday. I doubted we could get a result there yesterday, but we did. We did. And we proved one point about them. They're not as great as they think they are. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Bob. I don't think many people probably give us any hope yesterday. Certainly, all your writers and your pundits and radios and the newspapers and stuff, they didn't give us a hope in hell. So, but I don't know why though, because as we spoke about earlier on, the previous 2 games, we've been a better team, and then yesterday again we dominated them again. And I know they had their spell in the second half, but I still take a lot of consideration into Thursday night and the first half that the Rangers put up. The boys gave their all. I mean, they were running through brick walls for the manager, as I said earlier on. The manager was kicking every ball with them on that touchline and driving them forward. And between Thursday and then that first half, tiredness was going to be a factor yesterday. And that's how the bench had to be dead important, in my opinion. GB?
Well, the bench was like, at first when I seen the substitutions report, I was like, I mean, I think we touched on it yesterday with Nasala coming on. Boys no started since he's had his nightmare, and yet the Barry put him in amongst that game. Well, what it says we're kind of squeaky bum time a wee bit, but he came on and the boy handled it no bother. And then Iggerman again been very off form, but it puts him in there to show that he's up for the fight. So like it says, it's. I think you touched on it earlier, Port. It's the competition for places is coming back into the team again. And Barry said that. He says, you're not getting in my starting 11 unless you're showing it. unless you're earning it. So I think, like I says, everything just clicked yesterday. He's got players that he can probably trust now. I think he's starting to see that, and now you've probably got to get the frustrations coming out maybe in some of the players that are not getting a start. No in a bad way, but I think in a good way. And Akey touched on it. Daniil, we've seen that the other night there when he was meant to come on and then he got told to sit back down. He was absolutely raging. He was batting the chair and everything. And that just shows you a frustration that he's not getting on the park. So don't get me wrong, when Big Egg Man scored that goal, Daniil was one of the ones that was up there like giving him a cuddle and all that. But that's good to see. There's good to see that players are getting upset about not getting a start in this team. It would be very easy for folk just to sit and take their wages, but it shows you that there is, like I say, there's a bit of a dynamic there again.
Well, that's definitely something the manager touched on yesterday. If you heard him in his interview as well, if you're not going to try, you're not going to run, you're not going to win his team. If you're not going to show the minerals that Barry Ferguson expects, you're not going to win a Rangers starting side. And so I think he's threw the gauntlet down to all the players. Go and earn your place. If you're not on the team, fight to get in. And I think that just breeds, competition. It just breeds that and that drive and that, raw emotion in you to go and just, be part of that team that's fighting and winning and showing up, at the weekends and Thursday nights. I think we'll be joined by Southside. How are you, Southside?
All right, Trips, how are you?
Aye.
Very good, mate. Very good.
Aye. Attitude, application, heart and desire. That's what got us through yesterday. Thought the team would take tired legs halfway through the second half. Gave them obviously a spring in their step when they got a goal back so early, which I thought we should have done better with. But after that, we man finished the goal with a plum, didn't he? And Dessers had a chance before it. And if I'm honest, they were lucky they only went in 2-0 down at half time yesterday. So I think the game had a bit of everything yesterday, to be honest. And even Sterling had some clearance in the first half. I think Jack Butland had one save, but we could have been in more than 2 up by half time yesterday. But I think the players should be well happy and thank them for the efforts they put in after 120 minutes in Europe. And then to go up there and put it in, because the pace and the game's like when you play in the games, it's a lot quicker and faster. So all the players should take credit, and I thought tactically Barry and the staff got it perfect. Just the way the way they play, and I think we nullified that for large spells in that first half. Second half we got tired, and I think that's what opened up some space. But we had to make the subs when we made them. Dessers had a chance; he should have finished it and done better. And then the wee man pops up with a goal, and what a feeling that was. Don't know, I think it was lying in the ground somewhere. People bodies in Tappy and everything, man. It was unbelievable, man. That support yesterday were magnificent to a man and woman and child. Loud and proud yesterday. I don't know what it sounded like if it came across in the telly or whatever, but we gave it loudly yesterday from start to finish. So it was a good day out, had by all. And a good and thoroughly good night to the Managerial's o'clock this morning, so it was well worth it.
Aye, I think. Can you see Southside? Can you see my previous captain Barry Ferguson? Are you starting to see that the way he played the game, mate? Are you starting to see that on our team?
I'll wait in report because I think tactically wise what he done, it would probably have worked in the Thursday night against Fenerbahce at Ibrox, but I was disappointed that we didn't come out and have a bit more of a go at them. And tactically, I think Josie knew we were going to play the same way, and that's the way we played, and we didn't get the result out of it. We went through, and then going up there, I looked at the team again, but I thought tactically they were up. They were showing a lot of heart and desire. We were on the front foot. You could see them in their stones, jumping about, going mental, because they don't having to pass the ball back to their goalkeeper most of the time in the first half. We shut them down well, and then we go on the front foot and we got the 2 goals, and we could have had 3 or 4 in the first half. But I get he's installing the right attitude, what we expect for a Rangers player. I've said one year before, Barry Ferguson for me epitomises everything I want in my Rangers player, and I said it long before he got the job. He epitomised for me everything I want in a Rangers player, and good and the bad of him. but he understands it, and the players should be looking up to him because he's been there and done it and seen it, good and bad. And along with Neil and the rest of them, Alan McGregor and Billy Dodds, they're installing all that into the players. So I don't think he'll get the job, Port. I'm being honest. I don't think he will. I think we have to go and get a real manager. He's learning his trade. He's doing really well. But we'll see what happens. But the one thing I'm happy about is he's in all that backroom team are installing the values of what it is to be a Rangers player and showing them on the part how to get the victory. And with some standout performances yesterday, Diamondi was out there battling. I don't know if you remember, it was about 3 players trying to get the ball off him. He was doing the wee pirouette and all that, and he came away with the ball, but he was fighting for it, Port. No, Raskin was in about it, you know. And I thought the ref yesterday wasn't bad, but I thought it was a few decisions could have went our way, which he chose not. He gave it to them. But on the whole, I thought 1 or 2 of them should have had a booking on their team throughout the game. But there was no big, really, talking points or anything. No. And it was one of the games. And I said before the show, listen, somebody was a wee bit fearful last week. And I says, listen, we've scored 3 goals by them in the last 2 games. Now we've done it again. And we've won the game again. You know, so that's what it's about. It's about momentum. But what a day yesterday night. And that's what the games are like. When you get, if you're fortunate enough to go to it and you get that victory, believe me, that Rangers end was bouncing for a good 45 minutes after the game was done, still in there.
You know, you're touching on some of the players' performance yesterday. I don't know if any of you will agree. I thought Yilmaz, Yilmaz yesterday, I thought he was outstanding. He's seen off Kuhn, he's seen off Yang, and he's seen off Jota. And I thought, you know, didn't he? What about his job, defending, getting up, you know, getting forward, making himself a real nuisance on that left-hand side, but also defensively, I thought it was excellent. He handled them 3 different types of players very well. GB?
Aye, mate, done well, didn't he? And like it says, that kept the superheroes all quiet, supposedly. I mean, he's a good player, Port. He just needs to stay fit for us. Anytime he has actually been in the squad, he's actually done well. Remember, he had that rocket for outside the box that he scalped as well. I mean, so he's got really good technical ability on him, but we've just not seen enough of him. And sod's law, it's always at the wrong times we get him fit. We really need him fit when the like he says, there's hard run-ins and the hard games away. But I think hopefully now, this is with a wee bit of the time that he's getting with Barry and whatever's going on with Yefty, then we'll maybe, like I says, see Merriam, and hopefully he can just, like I says, just keep himself fit with playing games, Port.
AK, Ridvan?
He done okay. He done his job. He was there to, you know, hold his line, make the defence compact, break the lines when he could, join in the midfield if we were outnumbered there by any chance. But for me, the guy that was head and shoulders above everybody in the park was Nico Raskin. I thought he was absolutely outstanding yesterday. And Butland wasn't far behind him. He made a couple of really good saves at important times. The one for Hatate. He was commanding in his area, and that's what we're looking for off a goalkeeper. Albert touched on it yesterday. And I think everybody contributed. There wasn't many passengers, although the only one that I would say, Dessers was totally anonymous yesterday for me. Didn't offer much in attack. But apart from that, we'll forgive him this time because we won and Igamani came on and scored a rocket. But I couldn't believe he lasted the entire 90 minutes. That was all. But aye.
That's one thing I'll say about Dessers, mate. He still gives you everything, doesn't he? You know, I know he didn't show up for goals yesterday, but I think his work rate, chasing, you know, he's leading that press, mate. He's chasing them centre backs down, chasing the full backs down, you know, and I think, you know, I know he's here to score goals, but I think to start that press off, he's the first guy that starts that. And I think even the fact the work they put in yesterday, I think I still give him pass marks, but I get what you mean, mate. I know it was quiet in terms of being a threatening player, but I think his work rate yesterday, mate, was outstanding. In regards, I'm going to talk about the coaching team. Is everybody enjoying, how Neil McCann's input seems to be in Barry Ferguson's ear, a lot. Passed on instructions, giving instructions. I even seen him yesterday talking to some of the players. I think McCann's obviously been a previous pundit and watched a lot of teams and stuff in Scotland, and also managing for Dundee. I think he's an important part of the Barry Ferguson machine in the coaching team. Bob, are you enjoying McCann and his input?
I am indeed, because I've always advocated that we get real Rangers men in the backroom. They'd be your manager, your coaching staff, and you get Rangers people there. I know about Alex Ray there, but it wasn't working out, was it? But this present squad that you've got in the dugout, it definitely is at the moment working out. We'll see what happens in the long term. We all kind of everything's up in the air at the moment. But Billy Dodds, Neil McCann, Alan McGregor, well, I mean, Butland was indifferent there 2 or 3 weeks ago. Look at him now. That was a world-class save by Hattati yesterday, How he done it, I don't know. He let his Sheldon with the clearance for their first goal, but that's life, that happens. But I'm definitely with the backroom staff. Of course, the results bear it out, don't they? I've shipped in Jose Mourinho and shipped in Celtic in the space of 3 days. What's not to like, eh? We just have to keep it going. It's the results against the lesser lights in this league that's let us down this year, It's still the all fun games. The first one was bad, fair enough, but the last 3 games, well, we put 9 goals by them. Shows we can compete with them. So keep it up. Yes, I'm happy at the moment. So we'll see what happens in the long term. I don't want to speculate. What will be, will be.
Yeah.
I need to go for a drink of water.
GB.
Hi, Port. One thing, he doesn't seem to suffer fools lightly. Yesterday, again, like I says, he was shouting and bawling at somebody. I don't know. Like I said, I thought it was Balogun. He was maybe gesturing to, but he was right serious about it because he was following instruction. So I think between him and Barry, they seem to be the kind of ones that are talking about the tactics. Don't get me wrong, we need to give probably praise to the Moroccan boy as well. He was sitting watching all the video stuff yesterday. I noticed that, and I think he's been maybe helping out with the set play side of things. So I think they're all kind of playing their part, Port, but again, I think Barry's chose wisely. McCann's clearly been, like he says, a pundit for a while now. He done all right at Dundee for a while as well. He was the guy that spotted Kamara as well. So he knows a player. And like I says, hopefully, no matter what happens in the future, Port, I'd really hope there's a place for these kind of guys running about a club, because, as been proven, we do need, I think there's been a debate about Rangers men and stuff like that. We do need some sort of identity in the club. It can't all just be, like I says, all nicey and all professional and all the rest of it. You've got to have a bit of, like what we heard in the interviews yesterday when the Tav and Raskin were having an interview, the music was blaring out that dressing room in the interview and stuff like that. So you need to let the kind of reins off a wee bit. You need to kind of have that Scottishness where you go and have a beer. You know what I mean? So I think that wee bit of identity with McCann and all that's going to help that, mate.
Makes a great point there, Ricky. If we don't decide to go with Barry Ferguson, is there a place for some of that coaching team to remain under a new manager? Ricky?
Yeah. I made a wee observation yesterday on that. I mean, I know where Southside's coming for long term. Is Barry the man? Probably no, but I'm not totally against Barry. I like what he's brought brought back to the club, back to the dressing room. He's instilled a wee bit of, belief in that and the players. It's really down to the new ownership. If they get the 51% what they're looking for, it doesn't matter what the support want. They're going to go with their own man, and they'll trust their own man with their funds and things like that. But if they did keep on the likes of Barry, Neil, Griggs here, that in the coaching capacity, they've also got Kevin Thompson there in the academy, then I think that is a good thing for the club to give that, kind of feeling and that in the dressing room. And I think for Jimmy Belfast, I think that has been a partner that's been missing. So I think that's a good point, GB.
AK, sorry, Southside, what are you thinking, mate? I know. Obviously you've made your point earlier on, but what do you think? Is there a chance? Is there a chance that they could use these guys?
See, to be honest, Port, right? See, if we were going to get a manager, why did we not go and get them before we got Clement? I'll ask you that question.
Sorry, say that again, mate.
Why did we not go and get Barry then before we got Clement?
No, I know, mate.
We've stumbled upon it, right? We've stumbled upon this, right? We've stumbled upon him. And Chelsea done similar with Di Matteo. He took her halfway in and won a European trophy, and in the following season they bombed. They get rid of him. But I'm just saying, listen, he's installing all the right values. He's installing all the right things that we want at the club. I just don't see the four of them staying with the new regime that's coming in. They'll have their own man, I think, and I think they'll probably be sounding them out the now. But Barry's doing well. I love him with the fact that he's here. Like I said, if I wanted players like that's the type of players I wanted, with his fighting spirit, heart and desire of the club, and no accepting defeat, and would go out and play, or never complain about being tired and have the right mentality. I get all that, Port. And listen, if something happens and he gets to stay, great. But I don't think he will. He might get asked to stay on in a capacity, possibly. But Barry, he's already said it's my team. You know what I mean? He wants to be his own man. But at the moment, I'm just enjoying them being at the club, the four of them, installing the right things into the club, getting his victories, winning, beating them up there. First manager, he did that in his debut at Parkhead since Walter Smith.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to playing them again at Ibrox, and I think we can do another number on them. But the most important thing is we've got Hibs coming, and then we've got Dundee away, and we've got Aberdeen. So we'll need to address that, Port, and hopefully tactically in the right, be coming back off international duty and that. But I just don't think he's getting it. That's my gut feeling. But I'm happy that he's in there now, and he's doing well, and he talks what we all think and believe at times, and it's just like listening to us, the way we feel sometimes, because that's what Barry is. He's a supporter first, and now he's got the privilege of being our manager.
Aye, well said, mate. In terms of Barry Ferguson, I'm probably you, Southside. I think the new regime coming in will be looking for, a name. I think they'll be looking for somebody that's, get great pedigree. But I do get where GB's coming for in terms of, it wouldn't be a disaster, I don't think, if one or two of them are kept on in some sort of coaching role to keep this, this drive and this belief and this, what it is to be a Ranger in the dressing room. I just think if we've only got him for 3 months and he can drive this home to the current squad, and it rubs off enough that the players that are there can, drive that onto the next bunch of incoming players, then he's done his job for 3 months and he goes away with our best wishes, in my opinion, anyway. But I just think, if the new regime are going to look at, a name, somebody from abroad, whatever it may be, I just don't think it'd be a total disaster if he kept one or two of them on, and part of the coaching team. AK?
No, listen, I get where you're coming from. I think we're all kind of on the same page. Really, it depends on the new owners and what they see as a blueprint forward for success. I mentioned when Man City, Southside's still on about Jurgen Klopp's coming in. Man City, see when they came in initially, they had, I can remember their earlier managers, you might remember them as well, Stuart Pearce, Kevin Keegan, Sven Goran Eriksson, Mancini, and that before it got to, Pep. So they had that blueprint. The time when Chelsea's a transfer embargo, they got Frank Lampard in there as well, because he wasn't having to deal with transfers, so he had to promote the youth. If that's their blueprint, then they could keep Barry and his coaching staff for now. But if they've got money to play with there, you cast your mind back to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when they had the kind of famous win away for him in PSG, and Rio Ferdinand comes out, gave him the numbers, whatever it was, gave him it, that's it. That was a disastrous move for Man United in essence. For every Zinedine Zidane for Real Madrid, you've got an Alan Shearer for Newcastle. It's not always the right fit, so that it's one that the owners are going to think seriously about. I mean, they'll have, the wheels in motion about a director of football and things like that in the background. So it's whatever the finances available at the time, because we're not suddenly going to spend tens of millions here, no matter where the ownership is there. So if it's a steady progress they're looking for just to get a bit of continuity back in the club, then I wouldn't have a problem with Barry getting it, give him a year's contract, see how he is, because financially we're not going to get, committed to it. But if it's they want their own man and it's a long-term process, then that's what's going to happen. But if they keep Barry, Griggsy, Neil McCann, that in the club, I think that is going to be a good thing.
Hi, GB.
Well, I was just going to make a quick point on it. That, see, remember Patrick Stewart had that chat with all the hospitality about Clermont and said, look, we'll judge Clermont next season. So there, at that point in time, they were willing to give Clermont even another season, even though he was very shaky. This is what I'm thinking. I can kind of agree with AK that I think they'll need time to get other things sorted in the club, like bring in like sponsors and get money generated in the club. So for me, I think this is kind of like Barry's job to lose really now. I think as long as he keeps going up in this kind of trajectory, then say he gets through to the semis, right, and he goes unbeaten for the rest of the season, they'll see him as an easy fit, a steady Eddie, really. Knows the club, is proven that he can win important games and stuff like that. So I think it'll be an easy appointment for them, knowing that they were already going to give Clermont another season. So for me, I would love for us to go out and get a proper good manager if there's money there. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to break up the feel-good factor. You bring in a top manager and he can't get the team playing, and then you sack him a year down the line. So we're kind of in a kind of no man's land. I think they've got a tough decision to make. As for the new owners, again, it's up to them to generate the money. They've got players going out of contract. They've got an opportunity to probably bring sponsorship in that they can put on the shirt and stuff like that to generate a transfer kitty. So these guys know how to do it. It's just whether, like AK says, how fast do they want to do it.
Aye. Just a bit of information, folks. We are off till next Wednesday due to the international break. Old School and Fox have been booked into rehab for a break, troops. They're in a bad way, so we're going to give the boys a break. All right, just a wee bit of information.
A week Wednesday.
Aye, yep.
Yeah.
Bob Jer, Barry Ferguson, new owners, what do you think the way forward?
Well, like you said, the boys have covered some brilliant points there about the commercial side of the club. That's what these people are going to inherit the club and take it out, and right away they're going to have to generate a lot of money for being a new manager and a new squad. That's all up in the air. Nobody knows. We can't put our finger on it and unanimous. We can analyse it and dance through the barrel all we want. We'll just have to wait and see what happens when they come out. But Barry Ferguson, at the moment, the boy's doing really well. He's a real, like I say, he's a real Rangers man, and he's got a backroom staff there that are real Rangers men, sorry. And they've been over the course in Europe, they've been over the course domestically. So what's the like at the moment? I just want back among the honours boys. It's all right saying, we beat Jose, we beat the Celtic, that's fine. We've not got any silverware this year. Well, no, you never know what might happen. And I just want Rangers to be back among the silverware, back among the honours. Us having parties at Ibrox again. That's what we all want. That's what we're geared on. That's what we're reared on. And the quicker that happens, the happier we'll all be, no matter who the manager is or who the players are. We've got to be back among the honours. And we're hopefully these people can guide us to go there. I'm sure you all agree, yeah? Hello, am I lost? Am I on or something?
Aye. 1-4.
Yeah, no. One thing I said the last day I was on the show was I call for patience, regardless of what way they're going to go. Whether they're going to go with, a proven manager, with big pedigree, and remember that in terms of funding a manager, that doesn't come into financial fair play. So they kind of effectively go and get whoever they can attract, because it doesn't come into financial fair play. The manager, players do, but managers don't. So regardless of who they're going to go for, I think they have to be given time, and we have to be patient. We can't be wanting to hunt managers out the door after 18 months or after 12 months. I just think it has to be, it's massive. This is massive. It's a massive appointment, the next one. I've said this before on here, everyone's the next one's, more important than the next one. We've changed our manager for a club of our stature. We've changed our manager far too often. But we were never built like this. We were never built like this, changing managers the way we do. And as a support, we were getting hungry for, as you said, Bob, for trophies. We wanted to win something. The young team, in my generation, I've seen a lot of winning. But the young team currently haven't seen the same sort of level of winning as we all have. And I feel sorry for them as a support. But I'm still going to say the same thing. I would urge absolute patience. Whatever this new regime's going to bring, we have to stick by them. We have to stick by the new manager. If it's going to be a new manager, and we have to stick by the squad that's there and the squad that's going to be built. Southside.
Aye, we're going to clear out some of the deadwood, and then we've got to try and keep a lot of these players that this season are learning about the 3 games a week, competing in the big games. Players like Yefty, although he was missing through personal reasons, I think he's back in Brazil. We need to build a squad and try and get them together, and hopefully we'll be adding a lot more players. But if I'm honest, we need about 12. We probably need about close to 12 players in the summer to add into this squad and try to show we can push it forward. They'll have been together, most of them, if the ones that will be getting a game and that, they'll all be together. So it's about them competing. We'll know of long before we've got a qualifier in Europe come the summer. And there'll be a lot of things happening between April and May about the club and the owners, and then obviously director of football and a new manager, I would imagine. Or we'll maybe look at what Barry does to the end of the season. But I believe when the new owners come in, they'll have a blueprint, and they've already had somebody probably identified. And Barry at the moment, when they look at his lap, they'll maybe be like, wow, he's doing all right. But they've got a blueprint, mate, and we've got to get success next season. We've got to make sure in Scotland that we're getting that league title back. So we're putting down a marker to them. Yesterday was a marker to them again. They might not think it, but it is. And there'll be another marker getting laid on them again, coming towards the last when it goes to the split at Ibrox, and then we need to take that on to next season. But we need to do it against the rest. At the end of the day, Port, we've played 3 league games now against them. We've won 2. Yeah. So we've dropped the points against the rest of Scottish football. That's what's let us down this year. But so the squad's got to get better. Port, we're well short. You could see it yesterday, even in the subs that we made. So we've got to build a bigger, stronger, healthier squad going forward that can compete in all the competitions that we're involved in.
Aye, there is a massive drop off in the quality when we start getting through the subs. I totally agree with that. GB, going forward, as I said earlier on, again I'm calling for patience. What's your feeling on the next events? You're in agreement that we have to be sticking by this regime, the new manager, and first of all, we know, but let's say they touched on, we definitely need to get back to winning silverware. Bob just touched on it as well. That's massive. And I've said it before on here as well. For me, I always say it, Europe's gravy to me. The domestic dominance is what I want to get back to. I want to get back to winning our trophies in our homeland, first and foremost. Because you start doing that, the Francis take after themselves, look after themselves, and sky's the limit after that. You start qualifying for your Champions League, etc., and the money just keeps rolling in. That's why I'm saying we need patience. GB.
Aye, no, we definitely did. No matter what happens with the new owners and all the rest of it, they're going to need time to like I say, implement stuff. The management side of it for the first team, even like this new sporting director coming in port, he's got to need time as well to whatever he's having to do in the background. But I agree with Southside. We need success. We can't, no matter what happens, if another manager comes in and he's losing games left, right, and centre to the likes of Motherwell, St Mirren, Dundee United, and all that, but I'm sorry, they can't keep their job because it's not good enough. They've got to have some level of consistency in our league, and it's all right giving them time and all that rest of it, but if they can't compete against everybody else in the league, then they're no use to us. We're needing a guy to come in straight away who understands the league. It's got to take a bit of luck. And as long as we see a bit of progressions, if we're still challenging come the new year and we have a couple of slip-ups and that's what inevitably costs us the league, then I think as a support we can accept that. But what we can't accept is constantly going away for him, as AK's pointed out, with the amount of points stroked. Can't have that. We're too good a squad, too talented, and we've got too big a support. I would say the point if we were the like, say, an Aberdeen, a Hearts or something like that, then that's where you could probably accept inconsistency. But we've got big support there, we've got a big budget. I mean, and we might be kind of, the financial play might be holding us back a bit, but at the end of the day, we're losing a lot of wages in the summer. So it's down to the club to reinvest them wisely with a proper fit manager.
AK, the future, as I said, finances, players, and patience. Like I said a minute ago, mate.
Patience. That's not in the vocabulary in the Rangers support, I'm afraid. Southside Alburn was calling patience for Clement, and that didn't materialise. I think the players have got a lot to answer for on that one. I think they forced the hand of the board to where we are now. Barry's come in there, he's picked up the baton and he's got a reaction, but let's not forget Clement got a reaction after the players, Beale got a reaction after the players, Gio got a reaction after the players. Players have all the power in dressing rooms now. It's not right. And the manager seems to be falling on his sword. You're right to say it, Mark. We've had 19 managers in 153 years of history. Well, we've had 9 in the last 10 years, and that's contributed to a lack of consistency with success. So we need to be patient. We gave Gerrard the patience. I know he only won his 1 out of 3, but 3 years, 9 trophies, but it was a big one. It was an important one. You could see what he was building, and the board didn't back him to go again, and that was a problem. That set us back years to where we are now. I'm looking at that team yesterday, Port. Butland, Tav, Balogun, I don't think he'll stay on beyond this year. Sterling doesn't show up for his work. Cherney will get returned because he's a lone player. Dessers, I think we could cash in. Kelly, proper, no good enough. Lawrence coming up the end of his contract. Bizrami's no set the head on fire. Hadji's ending his contract, and I think Danilo will get shoved on. That's what 11 players there that we're looking to get off the wage bill then, that can maybe hopefully afford the new manager some more funds. We need a new direction. I'd like to see us looking at more of the Scottish market. We've all said it. Get players in that are robust, that show up for their work and know what it means to win at places like St Mirren and Hibs and Hearts and Aberdeen. Looked at it before. 20 points we've dropped away from him. Celtic have, they've only lost 2 games this year, the entire season. That's both to us. So we know where the problems lie. the consistency is the key to success, and obviously the strength and depth of squad that we've got.
Aye, you made a cracking point there, Kane, in terms of players that could, further players that could leave this current squad. It's, as Gaz touched on as well, what a job the next director of football's got coming in. This guy's got to come in and, first of all, depending on who the manager is, there's going to be a new philosophy set, there'll be a new formation probably. So then he's got to go and find the players to fit that philosophy and formation. And this is why I think it's going to be, it's all my opinion, it's going to be a slow burner. I think they'll try and definitely consolidate to make sure we're definitely closer to the end next year, 100%. I think that'll be, regardless of formations and philosophies in football, I think that this new regime will want some form of success. And whether that is closing that gap and getting closer to them and take it right down to the wire, I don't know exactly how patient they're going to be, but I just know we've seen this rodeo before, lads. Over the last several managers we've had, we can't just keep ripping it up and starting again and ripping it up and starting again. And this is why I keep saying, we have to accept what this next part of Rangers is going to be like, as in the rebuild. And this is what it's going to be in the summer. Southside touched on it, 12 players he reckons, and that's not even without mentioning the ones that you said could possibly go. AK, you know what I mean? Southside.
Aye, I agree with what you're saying about chopping, changing managers and stuff. I get that, but we've done it too often. But at certain times, we've triggered it, as the board have triggered it, because it's been domestic results that's more or less it's costing the managers their jobs, and it's inconsistency for players. Squads trying to evolve and change, Port. And the fact is, we started with a sort of new squad again at the start of the season, and it showed up inconsistencies, which it wasn't strong, and it's not strong enough to compete in all fronts with how far we've got. But the one thing we've done is, for that squad, is they've done well in Europe, and to get to the quarterfinals of Europa League is a phenomenal achievement for this squad of players. But the inconsistencies in the league games that we know we've dropped to points has been the issue. So that's got to be addressed. But if they go down the road and they've already got a manager that they think is a name and we all know when he comes, then that's what they'll do. And he should be able to make this team consistent over a period of time. And he should set out a style and a play and everything else. And if he's a top manager, then we'd expect him to do a top job. That's the way you look at it. And if players aren't cutting it, he'll drop them and move them on. And that'll be down to the director of football. But we'll have to get a core of players in Port for the start of next season to go forward with. And the ones that are there, hopefully they'll keep the standards going and drive the standards to the new players of what's expected at this club. And if any other management team get kept on in the background, then they'll certainly carry it on to the new players coming in. But the ones that are there, Port, I'd like to think now they'll drive standards next season with the new players that are coming in.
Aye, that's exactly what I'm hoping for as well. Like I said earlier on, it'd be great if they can find space for, say Barry, Neil McCann and the coaching team. But if not, and the 3 months are up, I'm hoping there's been enough installed into this current squad to, when the new players come round, like I say, they settle the new guys in, and that's still getting driven home, that message, what it takes to be what credentials you need to be a Rangers man, a Rangers player. As I said earlier on, it can't just be about being a decent or a good player, or a great player. You've just got to have other minerals to play at the club. It's as simple as that. GB?
Aye, good to have that mentality to go up to a cold Ross County on a wet, windy, howling night, Port, and have the backside kicked off you, basically, and you've got to have a mentality as well to deal with bad decisions getting against you as well. I think Raskin's coming into that as well. He's constantly up talking to the ref, saying to him, like, what's going on here? So it's good to see the squad getting a bit more switched on to certain things with Scottish game. It's hard, like it says. I'm hoping we, like say, this boy we're bringing in for Dundee as well. He knows the league. He'll be another probably a good addition as well. We've seen what we can do with Barron. Again, he's just needing some more proper coaching. I think that boy will come good as well for us. So, I mean, there's gems out there to build on. We just have to, like it says, make sure we pick the right characters. Guys like Cifuentes and all that are just no way suited to our league glamours and all that. Credit to Dessers, he has kind of held in there and stuck around. But as Scotty Arfield said in commentary yesterday, when it lands to the big moments, I mean, he's basically practically 1-on-1 with the keeper. I mean, you just need to bury the chances. And if you don't bury the chances, then you're always going to be known as a dud, no matter what you do in Europe and what you do against the likes of Ross County. So, aye, it's going to be interesting, like I says, who this director of football is going to be and what kind of manager they bring in. Because for me, I don't really want them going down the foreign route. I think it's got to be British. It's somebody that's got to know how the British leagues work, mate, to be honest.
I agree, mate. I don't think it's been any, some of our most successful times have been with either a Scottish or a British manager. I understand why clubs throughout Europe always want to go foreign, and I think sometimes we're very, very quick in this country, and it's including England, by the way. I think we're very, very quick to have a pop at our own coaches and managers. We seem to just write them off, not good enough. So we always go to the foreign market. And sometimes it can be right under your nose. It's the same with players as well. Sometimes I think we're ignorant to our own league. I've said it on here 1,000 times. We're ignorant to our own league. Again, some of our most successful times through our history, we've always had a good core of Scottish players mixed with your European talent, that bit of flair. And so it's no big, conundrum how to get success in Scotland. We've seen the blueprint previously, so you're hoping that the new management team, new owners, have done their due diligence and they've looked at it and went, let's look at how they've had success in the past, and it's there for everybody to see how we've had trophies and how we've had successful teams, because there's been a blend. I mean, Oxford always says it. You've got to get the blend right. Southside.
Aye, so we've always talked about it on here. You want a sort of core group of Scottish players or people who's played about the league. I've said to you as well on here, Port, that the fact is, under my time of watching Rangers, I've seen more success under Scottish and British managers. And then I say I always wanted to get the players to try and get an attitude and mentality like you want to be, like I said before, Barry Ferguson. So that type of mentality into my squad. So aye, and he's in the job by now, but we need to build a squad and we need to get the right characters, and you just need them to drive the standards in the dressing room. I think that's what drives the standards, is players in the dressing room. So hopefully the values that they're getting installed in now, then it will install it to the future players, as I previously said there.
Can I come in there?
On you go, Bob Joe.
Aye, go, Bob Joe.
The league's simple, isn't it? It's simple. Everywhere you go away from him, you're facing a battle. Every game you play at him, you're playing against 10 defenders. And this is what the obstacle is every single time. And this year we're not been able to cope with that for some reason. They've been good enough, obviously. So we'll just have to see what the new man brings in, because he'll know that. He'll be been briefed up on all that. And this is where we need to get players that are good enough to cope with that. Because it's still against them, as it's been proved up to now, where we've failed in the league. It's against these other people. And we've got to learn, as you said, you're up at Ross County on a Wednesday night, get your backside kicked, sorry. And that's what our league's all about. And it's got to be overcome. And that's where you win your points. In the rain at Aberdeen, in the rain at Easter Road and Tynecastle. That's where you win your points. We all know that. It's simple. So we'll just have to see who the new man is, what staff he brings in, and then take it from there. But no another period that we go through with 7 and 8 managers. That can't happen again. Anyway, lads, I'll speak to you a week Wednesday. Very interesting to listen to you tonight. Okay, it's a happy bear. Bid me all a good night.
I'm glad you're happy, Bob. Did see before you go? Were you were you worried about Sunday when we were playing them? I said I thought we had the squad to cope with them. So at the end of the day, I thought yesterday, I thought we were equipped. I thought the only thing that was a problem would have been the fitness, tiredness in the legs of the players because of the 120 minutes.
Well, when you go there, you're always going to go under pressure. We can that. They've got their crowd, their supporters right in the top of you that I just absolutely abhor to say. Fair enough, we're the same. And I don't know if the boys could have coped with that just because that was the one tough game there on Thursday night. But especially with the extra time and the mentality of the penalty shootout. And well done, Jack Butland, by the way. But with that cover on the back of it, I thought, well, I'll be happy with a draw. I never concede defeat to them, never. And I'll be happy with a draw yesterday, and I was nearly right. But there you go, the Gers pulled the hurt out and they've done it. And that's what you want. That's what you want repeatedly against everybody. This is what we're striving for. So whatever happens in the future, get that mentality in the team that you must win every week. It's difficult. It's no easy. But then we're not going to win every game. But at the end of the day, they better domestically next year. We must. Because that's been the luck doing this year. All right, guys. I'll let you get away now. And thank you for having me.
We're running a wee bit longer, Bob, Jer, if you want to stay on. It's up to
I'll
yourself.
stick around then because the dog's lying sleeping. That's brilliant.
We're going to stay on a wee bit longer because we started later this evening.
Oh, good.
So I'll go to AK and we'll come back to you. That's what we need to do, Alec, and it's about building a squad, and we just need to do that for the start of next season. And it will take money. I know we've spoken about it, about the fair play, but I think hopefully this new the 49ers group and that coming in, you'd like to think that they'll have some sponsorship things maybe in place and that will get announced straight away. That might generate us a chance to put in more cash.
Aye, hopefully. I mean, the guys know what they're doing, don't they? With restructuring clubs, and they recognise that we've kind of lost our way a bit with the positions of power, so to speak, our CEO, our chairman, the vacancies in the director room, the kind of power struggle with the shareholders, the lack of investment, blah, blah, blah. It's been a commercial disaster for a few years there. We've been bringing money in through Europe, through a couple of good transfers, but they don't last long, no, with the kind of wage bill that we had. So we had to reduce that and recognise that. We had to adhere to the financial fair play restrictions and guidelines that UEFA was giving us, because we were on their watch list a couple of years ago, and we need to prove to them that we're trying to go in the right direction. So all these things they're going to implement and prove to them that we are going in the right directions, but we need all the key figureheads in the boardroom to provide the finances to help a manager to get that winning team out the park, and then everything's got a cog in the wheel, so to speak, and then hopefully things will start to move along nicely. So it's one thing at a time. Getting the right people in is critical. I seen Souness there, one of the recent big games. It might have been the Fenerbahce game. He was up watching. If he gets involved, then he's going to give them good advice, obviously, with he knows the history, the culture, the heritage of the club. Get the guys in about there, but no just guys at Rangers, minded. Get the right people in, whether it be Scottish, British, foreign. It's just about getting the right people in for the club now, mate, to take us forward, and hopefully the success will begin to come in.
Hi, Bob, Jer, I think now we're going to get this wee break. It was 2 massive games for the squad. I take my hat off to every single player that played yesterday, because I thought the man, they went out there and had to show a lot of guts, attitude, application. Definitely have tired legs for the game on the Thursday, especially after the 120 minutes for some of them. So I thought yesterday it was a really good effort for the whole squad. But we've got to keep it up now going forward in the next league games coming up. So it's always hard, I think, coming off a European game and and then they're usually the hardest ones to win, Bob J. But I think Hibs are coming to Ibrox shortly, who's in a good vein of form. And then we're away to Dundee, and then I think we're away to Aberdeen. So this is when we'll see the mentality of this squad at the moment. And the ones that are going to be here next year, it's the learning curve for them. They need to be up for every single game now going forward, and it's demands at the club, Bob J.
Well, there used to be an older days years ago. I don't know if it still rings true or not. I'm sure it does. Nobody played well on the back of a European tie. Nobody came back domestically and played well. But sure as good, Rangers did it yesterday. And I think we were fortunate that the game was at our place on Thursday night, which helped. There were no travelling. Doesn't matter. You still had them to overcome, and it was a supreme physical effort. And it moved on to another supreme physical effort yesterday. And if we've got that in us, well, you know, I didn't care what's going to be with the transformation of the squad in the summer, but if we've got that installed in the club, well, I could see success coming in the short term. I hope I'm right. And, yeah, we'll just, again, it's all speculation, boys. We'll just have to wait and see. We're in a transformation. These people are coming in and give us all a high level of optimism about what they're going to do. But success has got to be earned. And I keep hammering at him. It's got to be earned domestically on Wednesday nights in the rain and what have you. It's all been spoken about. So, see about history here. You talk about levels of success and runs of success. I'm a bit older than you guys. I remember the runs of success we had in the old Scott Simon. And suddenly we couldn't cope with the Gonage and the communist team. And it was a long drawn-out period, but we were second best to them. I think that's coming to a close again, because I think that lot that they've got playing for them and who's getting past their best. I kind of noticed that yesterday. Anybody agree with me there?
I'll go to AK first. On you go, AK.
I think there is signs that they are starting to change their team. Obviously, the age-wise, Hart stepped out the team and been replaced with Schmeichel, but Schmeichel's no young chick either. James Forrest, Carl McGregor, Greg Taylor. I thought Alistair Johnson for them was one of the poorest games he's ever played for them. They've obviously moved on Kyogo and that. So they're trying to refresh their squad, but Brendan Rodgers hasn't got a good reputation for building a squad. He usually gets good results off the other people's squad. So I get what you're saying there, Bob. It's a valid point. But we just need to... I don't know how we do it. I really don't. As I said, I think it's the American ownership. They're going to come in and expect success. You know, they're not going to settle for second best, so that's going to need money. But it's you still need the right characters in that dressing room. And you're right, the away games at Ross County, St Mirren, Motherwell, Easter Road, Tynecastle, Pittodrie, Tannadice. You're right, Bob. Yeah, that's where you win league titles. That's what we did under Gerrard, you know, with a phenomenal level of consistency for success, but we were poor in the cup competitions, obviously losing away to St Mirren and home to St Johnstone. So it's about building it up gradually, pal. Don't know how we do it, but I just hope we do, because we've been starved of success for far too long. Domestic success is the key to Europe for me. I agree with you.
In the one-half games, Bob J, I think the last wee while, I think we've proved. We've scored 3 goals by them in 3 games here. Wow. Whereas before, sometimes we had a wee bit that wasn't the Rafa. But now, we know they're an all right team, but they're near a good team. That's the thing. And tactically, yesterday, you knew what we're going to do. Johnston makes you run inside, goes down the line. They were trying to play the balls. Sometimes overhit them, sometimes they get blocked as they put them across. We nullified them in a lot of areas yesterday. And I don't know why Trusty or Scales never played. I've got no idea. McGregor always had a question mark on him, and the fact he didn't play. But they can't use it as an excuse, because they're spending plenty on their squad for this team that they've got. We've played them many a time with a weakened team, no suitor in a cup final and stuff like that. We just go on with it. You know, so we beat them yesterday, I thought, fair and square, and I thought they were lucky to go in at half-time only 2-0 done. We tired, obviously, which probably gave them their space in that in the midfield. They brought Ida on at half-time. Did they really make a mark in the game, Ida? Did they look like he came on and made a big difference for them? You know, they spent plenty of money on Engels, £11 million. He's whipping free kicks in, he's whipping corners in and tappies, but apart from that, he done nothing yesterday against us, nothing. You know, so they've got plenty of money, but it depends on how you spend it. So when we get money coming up, when we're going to be going to the transfer market, hopefully we'll spend it wisely, but they're nowhere near a good team. We've played 3 league games, we've played them, and we're 2-1 up. Aye.
I'll put it to the two of yous and the listeners. See the Thursday night for us, the Thursday, Sunday, always playing catch-up, always a game behind them. Do you think that's became a problem for us over the years? Because Champions League with a Tuesday or a Wednesday, you're always playing that Saturday. We need to get into that Champions League, not just for the financial benefits, but also where it affects the knock-on effect, the domestic matches. That Thursday, Sunday is killing us as a team, I think.
Well, aye, because the squad isn't big and deep enough to cope with. It's always a harder fixture, Bob, dear, when you're playing the Thursday, and especially away from him. But even your home games, I mean, we played Tottenham in the Thursday night at Ibrox, and that meant the mental strength, the mentality that goes through, your adrenaline, the magnitude of the game, all that, and then you play the game. Your legs are going to be tired the next day, and it's a recovery day, and then if it's a home game, then you've only really got Saturday, and then you've got to be bang on it again on that Sunday. And sometimes for us, it's a 12 or 12:30 kick-off on a Sunday.
Right.
You know?
That's exactly right. It's a quick turnaround. And no matter how physically fit you are a human being. You're going to feel it. Because a lot of physical effort goes into these European games. Because a lot of the time you're playing teams that are technically better than you, and they can pass the ball, and you're chasing a lot. So when it comes to coming on a Sunday at Easter Road and there's a battle on, well, it is a big effort. I would agree with that. Champions League, well, there used to be a thing called Champions League legs. Do you mind that statement? But if you feel it's at a disadvantage playing Thursday and Sunday, I would agree. I would agree. I'm the old traditional Wednesday, Saturday. Or sometimes it's Wednesday, Sunday. All depends what time the skies want to take you. So, it's a wee bit of a disadvantage playing Thursday, Sunday. I would agree with that, yeah.
I think,
it's a disadvantage this week, thank God. But
no, but see, players like Yefty, that we got, you're looking at Ignaman, Diamande even probably wasn't exposed to as much football before we bought him in the short periods of time, games that we play up here. And other players in the squad, the reporters have got to adapt and cope. Connor Barron is another one, hardly played a lot of football. So he's getting used to it, having the demands. Okay, so the squad, even Cherney would have had a break at Christmas, he said. So he's played some amount of football as well, that normally we get break times in to recover. So it's all new to this squad, and it's about adapting to it. And if you're going to be here for 2 or 3 seasons, then it's down to you to cope with it mentally and physically, and that's what we've got to get into some of the players for this season so they can cope next season, okay?
Oh, 100%, mate, 100%, and it's valid factors. I mean, Jurgen Klopp, your man, has been on about it for years with Liverpool, the amount of games when they had to play, if they were playing a Tuesday or Wednesday Champions League, that were generally the lunchtime kick-off and the Saturday. Guardiola's complained about the amount of games that Rodri had to play there, and that was a contributing factor to his season-ending injury this year. I think he said he played 83 games, all in all, last year for Man City when they won their treble, and then they went away and won I think it was the World Club Cup, and then won the Euros with Spain. So it comes to the strength and depth of squad and all that, though, isn't it? And this is where it's gone now. I mean, Fox has put a question in the chat there, or he's heard a rumour there that there's possibly European football could be moving to weekends, and it's domestic matches that it's going to be played midweek. Would you approve of that? Not sure how that would go down with the paying public.
I don't know. That would depend.
Boys, if I could intervene on
yes,
that
on
point,
you go.
Did I hear that we're playing Atletico Bilbao on a Saturday?
No,
Sure,
no, it's not.
No.
It's
No.
not getting implemented this year, but it could be there in the next year or two that the UEFA is looking at it. It's just rumours now, Bob Ger, but it might materialise. See, with the European Super League and things like that.
Because that's coming.
Aye, what
That's
dates
what's
is that? April, isn't it?
April 17th, I think.
10
So
and
away
17.
game.
10 and 17, isn't it?
The thing about it, Bob Ger, is there's that much international football now as well, and the travelling that's involved. And we've got Tom Lawrence, we've got Tom Lawrence away, you've got Raskin away, I think Diamondi will probably be away, Cherney probably. So
Rami.
Is Rami?
Is Rami
Suter, I don't even know if Suter get picked for the.
I think so.
Did he? So we've got 8 players away, and then we're trying to get them back, and then they've got to recover, and then because we need them to play week in, week out for us, because that's what they're normally picked, apart from Bizrami lately. But we need them to be fit and available, and I think the amount of games that they're playing with internationals and without breaks, that's how we are picking up injuries, and the sports science stuff kicks in. They're not wanting players to run too much at training because they've all got the GPSs on, and they get marked up and checked every day, so they know. So it's a new thing. I think it's just the pace and the physicality in the game now, and the amount of games that they're playing, that sports science has had a role to play now going forward, Bob Ger.
Well, cast your mind back to that final in Manchester when I seen an interview with Walter. And I can't remember who the fixtures were. The first one was the pre-season fixture was against Craig Levine's Dundee United at Ibrox, a game that we won 3-1. And then I think the following week we had to play Motherwell at Fir Park, and we were going for the league at the time, which we didn't get, by the way. To me, due to fixture congestion, and the SFA wouldn't move aside to give Rangers a weekend off, a pre-season weekend off before a European final. I'm sure you remember that. Whereas the Russian FA, they moved aside and gave Zenit St. Petersburg the weekend off, pre-season a European final. And it cost us a league, and it cost us a European trophy. Fixture congestion. And Walter's put his hands up and says, right, that's your season, we'll just have to get on with it. You remember that? So the same thing's going to rear its ugly head again. Fixture congestion every year, and the more successful we are, the worse the congestion gets at the end of the season. So how we're going to find a way around it, I don't know.
It's just the way football's changed, I think, AK. Telly's changed it. I remember David Murray saying it. It'll change forever once you involve all the big TV companies, and they'll schedule games and tell you when you're playing. And we've been at the 6:05 kickoffs, if you remember, back a good number of years back. We used to do them. Friday night, aye. So you're at the mercy of the TV companies, as well as certain pro like UEFA. You know, you'll be in the Champions League. They're going to be Tuesday, Wednesday. But like you say, maybe in the future it might change to a weekend.
Aye, well, unfortunately, football is sold its soul to the devil, and the TV is dictating things now. The armchair fans, that's why we've got VAR. We're following the Americanisation, the American football guys telling the crowd what their decisions was. I don't know if you've seen that yesterday with the League Cup. There was a decision made at Wembley, and I think the referee he still got the message rang across to the crowd. Nobody knew what was happening. But these are the things that they're trying to implement. Are they for the better from the game? No for me. I think you've lost a lot of your support. It's all right for the armchair supporters. They would say, it is for the better from it again, but for the people that actually go to the games, no, it isn't. So that's up for debate. But while we're on the subject of the crowd, Southside, there's a wee bit of an explosion, so we say, or a timplosion with Cherney spraying some water on the crowd, I believe, yesterday. I'm pretty sure I've seen missiles. I'm pretty sure I've seen missiles getting thrown at our Rangers players celebrating, and I believe that there were also missiles thrown in amongst their support. I know they've got a cheek.
Aye, I know. Always cheated, never defeated. That's their motto, innit? There was loads of stuff lying at the side of the park when Ignomani scores and comes sliding out of the Rangers support. And then the players were going back up. They were launching all sorts through the main stand at the players. And after the game, because you're kept in, you could see it all line up right along the track where they'd gathered it and left it lying. There was plenty of stuff lying there, you know. So they've got a teeth to talk about anything sometimes, that mob, you know. But like I say, the support was loud and proud, AK, yesterday. And when you go there, you expect it to be noisy and stuff for them. But nah, there was nothing. All right, they got their 2 goals and they sort of raised the level a wee bit. But apart from that, I think probably for people watching the game out there, it was probably us they heard singing throughout the game. More than them for their home support, as we tell them. So it was quite funny, obviously, when they came in at the start and that. And I don't know what it is, they keep wanting to bless themselves when they come across to the Rangers support, you know, staying there and act like an idiot. But it's quite funny. But on the whole, just it's the usual disruption of having to travel up there early or early-ish, and then get kettled into that dump. Do John Sterling says, wasn't it, in his tweet or something, I heard? Shithole, was it, he put up? Toilet. So, no, listen, well, that's us done there. We've been up, we'll not be getting back this season. So, but no, listen, to a man, the players stood up and been counted. They probably expected them to turn up and just turn the zero. Their tactics, you know, we marked the space, we done well, we shut them down. We got exposed a couple of times, and our goalkeeper turned up on the day because, you know, a goalkeeper in the games is important. He's important all the time, but in the games he needs to show his worth. And again, as much as I've criticised Jack Butland a few times, AK, he had a good game. He's kicking a couple of times, but apart from that, everything he was asked today, he done well.
He did. He stood up. And maybe Albert has been McGregor's been bringing Albert in his ear to get his act together. But it was a good all-in-all performance. I listened to a wee bit of Andy Halliday tonight, and he summed it up perfectly. He says Celtic might have had possession and all that, and says, but see, Rangers tactically, they dominated the park, the lines, stopped Celtic from playing. You know, they were passing it about themselves at the back and in the midfield, and it would just any time, you know, it got to within the kind of semicircle into our area, they were challenged and they were forced to go back. So they might have had more of the ball, but the Rangers tactically, I thought, were excellent yesterday, particularly in the first half. You agree, Bob?
Oh, I agree thoroughly. I thought Rangers were excellent in the first half. See, believe it or not, I watch everybody, and watching them, they love to pass the ball out the back to Carter Vickers, route wide to Johnson, back in again, and route wide to whoever on the left-hand side, whoever they've got playing for them. And they couldn't get doing that yesterday. Hence where Schmeichel passed the ball straight to Cherney, where we should have scored, by the way, but whenever. Can't score all the time. Well, I upset their rhythm, upset their system, and they couldn't handle it. They didn't like it. It came in the second half, and the word just trying to get the ball forward as quick as they could. Well, we all did that, but I think they were only for playing their fancy damn football yesterday that they get to every week against the lesser lights in this league. Rangers got it totally spot on yesterday, shutting them down. Butland did, think about it, a couple of great saves, especially in the first half of the tie. And that big left back of theirs, I can't remember his name, is it Kuhn or something? And he hit the ball, and it was a good save with Butland, a comfortable save. But he didn't have that many brilliant saves to make in the second half. Rangers got it tactically spot on. I believe I believe yesterday, boys, and hindsight's a great thing, that if we hadn't lost that quick goal, we could have maybe went on and beat them 2 or 3 yesterday. I think we could. I think we were that far in front of them tactically. We didn't move a side like Fenerbahce in Istanbul without it being a half decent side. And that's what we've done. So fair play to Barry Ferguson and fair play to the squad.
Aye. Listen, if you know what they're going to do, they've been doing it for long enough, the way they sort of try and cut you off. And the goals that we have lost, Bob, J, early period. Yesterday, if they don't get that early goal just at the start of the second half, I thought Tav, because you can normally like, but he sort of ran in sort of slightly, I think, from memory. I've not really seen a lot of the game back, Bob, J, to be honest, since yesterday. But if we don't lose that, I think we would still have tired in the game yesterday because of the exertions for the Thursday night. But I said to people around about me, even when they go it back to 2 each, I felt like you get that feeling when you're at the game, no. And I think 15 minutes after they got the second goal, probably in that spell, they were trying to open us up. We're under a lot of pressure. I think Butland might have had one save to make in that period of time. Right. And then it just seemed to calm a wee bit, it felt like. And then we made the subs, and then it felt like we started to get ourselves back into the game, get a hold of the ball, even when we weren't going too forward, we were making passes. Then eventually we get up the park. Dessers has a great chance, because you're always going to get a chance near the end, Bob J. You always know that something will fall. And it fell to Dessers the first time, and he tried to chop inside when he should probably just have put his laces through it, because where he was at the time when he pulled out wide, it was perfect from just to drill it and hit the target and see where it goes. But the wee man, Ignaman, what a finish that is, you know. He just smashed it, and the ball just sat up from as he tried to cut it inside, AK. But what a finish, wasn't it? He just drilled it into the roof of the net.
Aye. I think it was Sutton that said on commentary, Igamani, when that he hit that ball, it stayed hit and it rocketed into the back of the net. It's just sat up perfect for him. Johnson kind of made a mistake. He lost the ball in the air, and he kind of lost his footing, and it kind of broke nice kindly to Igamani, but he dispatched it. But just looking at your timing of things, and you're right there, Southside, when they score, it was the 74th minute, Hattati makes it 2 each. Barry and his coaching staff obviously had a discussion between them, who was looking tired, who was feeling the effects for Thursday. He brought on Lawrence and Ciala and Igamani for Barron, Sterling and Cherney. So 79 minutes they three come on, and that certainly changed the game in our favour. But a great victory, and the 2,500 there yesterday certainly enjoyed it. And we heard you, the rendition of the King and everything, brilliant.
Aye, that certainly. I thought that might have been out loud and proud yesterday in the 90th minute. Bob J, we're just going to wind up.
Aye, great.
So,
I didn't mean to wind it up.
No, but no, thanks for phoning in as always.
Privilege, always a pleasure.
So we've got another 10 days now, mate. We'll be back a week on Wednesday. There'll be a show a week on Wednesday. So we're going to do that. So that's when we'll come back. But we can sit and be happy that our team has put in 2 magnificent performances, faring back to the Europa League, and we've now done a number of them up there at the Chamber of Secrets. So what more can we wish for now? We can just keep it going, Bob J. That's what we've got to keep it going and back to consistency.
Well, look forward to my letter coming in through the week about my water rate has gone up. There's another joke about water. I don't know if I've been slipping them in all night. I don't know if you've been noticed.
Cherney's took the game, a dirty water.
That's it. Go to the Castor shop tomorrow. You can get a Cherney, so you can. So it's a nice big water pistol. It's quite good, and it's done by all the colours. Looks quite trendy. But do you know what? This is a deflect, mate. This is the absolute deflect for the result. And it'll get carried on for a few days. It won't even surprise me if it makes the Scottish Parliament or something. That's how ridiculous it will get. Do you know what I mean? That will just carry on, and that's a deflect away for the result, Bob Ger. So anyway, mate,
absolutely.
Thanks anyway.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it for calling in, mate. You're always welcome
Problem.
here. You know that.
Thank you.
Right. So, AK, final words.
Thanks to yourself, Southside there, Bob Ger, for coming in there today. Hope everybody enjoys the kind of Easter break for the internationals, and we'll see you next Wednesday, I believe, Southside.
Aye.
Got to get a wee bit.
Aye, they two have got to go into rehab till then. So, Fox and Old School Blue. Well, I'd like to thank Jim 115 for phoning in, Bob Ger, also Port and GB, who were on the show earlier on, and yourself, AK, for being on the night. Also, Old School Blue and Fox for doing the show. I'd like to thank all the YouTube troops that have stayed on and been listening into the show. Everybody out there that's listened in, and we'll see you on a week on Wednesday. So, fantastic result yesterday for Rangers, fantastic for the support. Had a cracking night in the early morning, brilliant weekend out. So, hopefully we'll have more of them to come. So, as always, there's only one team and one crown. Take it away, Fox.